Hello everyone, welcome to Prodigy IS. Today again we are here with a very important concept in the sociology paper. Today we'll talk about the most important sociological thinker, Auguste Comte, the pioneer of positivism in sociology. Today we'll be talking about Auguste Comte, often hailed as the father of sociology. Comte was a 19th century French philosopher. He was born in 1798, who actually coined the term sociology in 1838 to describe the scientific study of society. He lived in post-French Revolution Europe, a time of rapid change and turmoil, and he believed that understanding society through science was the key to restoring order. Contextually, Comte was influenced by the Enlightenment and the success of natural sciences like physics and biology. In this introductory part, remember Comte's big motivation. He wanted to apply the methods of science to study society. So now we'll discuss about the Comte's major contribution to the society. The hallmark of Comte's contribution is positivism, a philosophical approach that insists authentic knowledge must come from scientific inquiry based on observable facts. In simple terms, Comte argued that we should study society like a natural scientist would study physics or chemistry using observation, experimentation, and comparison. He rejected armchair speculation or theological explanations for social issues, insisting that society's problems need scientific knowledge based on facts and evidence to solve them, not based on superstitions or any speculation. Not based on any superstitions or any speculations. Remember this for UPSC Mains. If a question is asked, what is positivism? Critically analyze it. You should start by defining positivism in Comte's terms, which are scientific study of society, and mention that Comte saw sociology as the culmination of all sciences after physics, chemistry, biology, and finally it comes to sociology. Now we'll discuss the law of three stages. One of the Comte's most famous ideas, and very exam relevant I must say, is his law of three stages, which describes how human thought and society evolves together. Let's break it down in a simple way. First stage was theological stage. In the earliest stage, society explains phenomena through supernatural or divine forces. People attribute everything to God, spirits, or magic. Think of it like this: if there was a thunderstorm, and people in this stage might say, the gods are angry as the explanation. It is very religious stage of thinking. The second stage was metaphysical stage. Next comes a transitional stage where explanations shift from concrete gods to abstract principles. People invoke philosophical entities or essences like nature or essences as causes. It is little less superstitious but still not based on science, more like abstract reasoning. For example, someone might explain that same thunderstorm as due to some cosmic balance or abstract force rather than a curse from the gods who are there in the sky. The third stage is positive scientific stage. Finally, the stage Comte championed. Here people understand the world through scientific inquiry and empirical observation. Explanations are based on evidence and laws of nature. Our thunderstorm now would be explained by atmospheric pressure, electricity, etc., rather than any myths or vague essences. Society in this stage relies completely on facts and scientific laws to guide it, embodying the Comte's idea of positivism. Comte believed that all societies progress through these three stages in order. Comte even drew a parallel with human development. Just as an individual grows from a child who believes in imaginary and supernatural explanations to an adult who uses reason and science, humanity's collective knowledge matures from theology through metaphysics and to ultimately science. Now we will discuss the major works and ideas in a simplified manner. In his 6-volume work, Cours de Philosophie Positive, Comte outlined these stages and argued that sociology should be the queen of sciences, the last and most complex science that would study society using scientific methods. He also introduced the idea of social statics and social dynamics. By social statics, Comte meant the study of social order and stability, the forces that hold the society together. And by social dynamics, he meant the study of social change, the forces that drive the progress and evolution in a society. For instance, analyzing how institutions like family, government, and religion function together at a given time in social statics. Studying how society changes from feudalism to industrial capitalism would be social dynamics. This dual focus showed Comte's comprehensive view of sociological scope. Now we will see some analogies and examples. Let's make Comte's abstract ideas more concrete. First, analogies. Imagine explaining something simple like a rainbow. In a theological stage, one might say it's a gift from the gods. In a metaphysical stage, perhaps it represents a deeper natural harmony. But in the scientific stage, we explain a rainbow by sunlight refracting through raindrops, and that is completely physics. This mirrors Comte's stages from divine explanation to abstract reasoning to scientific law. There is analogy too. Comte saw society as an organism evolving, like an organism evolves. In early times, theological stage, society is like a child guided by imagination and superstitions. In metaphysical, like an adolescence, questioning and using philosophy. And in positive, like an adult relying on science and reason. So he effectively says society grows up intellectually over time. Now let's connect it to the exam. Comte's ideas have directly inspired UPSC questions. For example, in UPSC Mains 2025, it was asked, what is positivism? Critically analyze the major arguments against it. To tackle this, you first must define Comte's positivism clearly. The belief that sociology should only rely on knowledge verified by science, no intuition or metaphysics. Then you would mention arguments against positivism, which Comte's successor raised. Example, later sociologists argued that human society isn't as quantifiable or law-bound as physical science is, or that positivism ignores subjective meaning. And that's true also. Remember, whenever positivism or the scientific study of society comes up, Comte's name should pop up in your head. Another common theme, Comte's law of three stages, which is very important. If a question asks about the evolution of social thought or early sociological theory, describing these stages with examples will definitely earn you marks. Now we will study how Comte shaped sociology's foundations. Comte gave sociology both a name and a mission. He established the idea that society can and should be studied scientifically. This was revolutionary at the time, definitely, because imagining and telling people you want to study society with the same rigor as studying gravity. He emphasized empirical observation, classification of social phenomena, and looking for social laws like natural laws, much like natural laws. Importantly, Comte's vision was not just theoretical. He believed that sociological science would guide social reform and improve society. This scientific zeal set the tone for later thinkers like Durkheim. Even though some of the Comte's specific ideas, like a priesthood of scientists to rule society, were never adopted, his core message, sociology as a positive science, became the bedrock of the discipline of sociology. Now let's connect it with a real life example for your conceptual clarity. Think about traffic rules in a city. Why do we drive on a certain side of the road only? No single individual decided it for themselves. It's determined by law and custom before we were even born. This rule is external to you and me, yet it strongly governs our behavior. We have to follow it, or chaos ensures. This is a kind of social fact, Durkheim term, which we'll discuss later definitely. But Comte paved the way by insisting such phenomena be studied scientifically. A Comte-style analysis would collect data on traffic accidents, see patterns and propose rules like speed limits based on factual evidence. It sounds obvious today, but this mindset, basically basing the social rules on scientific study, is very much Comte's legacy. So what is the conclusion and takeaways in this topic about Auguste Comte. Auguste Comte gave sociology its name, its first scientific theory of progress, the three stages, a manifesto that sociology should be a rigorous science of society. He emphasized order and progress, understanding the stable elements, social statics, and the changing elements, which we call social dynamics of society scientifically. For UPSC, please keep track of the key takeaways in mind. First, the father of sociology. He coined sociology and laid its foundation as a distinct discipline. Positivism. He advocated that sociology must use the scientific method, only empirical, observable facts count as knowledge. Law of three stages: theological, metaphysical, and positive. A theory of how human thought and society evolve. This illustrates the shift from superstition to science in human history. Then, social statics and dynamics introduce thinking of society in terms of structure, order, and process, that is change, an early systems approach. And lastly, the scientific vision. He envisioned sociologists as scientists who would discover the laws of society and help guide social progress. This vision influenced later thinkers to firmly establish sociology as a distinct science. So keep Comte in mind as the grand starter of sociology. His zeal for scientific approach set the stage for everyone from Durkheim to Weber. And who knows, a mains question might just ask you to discuss the contribution of Auguste Comte to sociology. If it does, you now have plenty to write. So you will again be here with another topic in sociology optional, which will help you write mains exams of yours for the sociology paper. Till then, stay tuned for more updates at the rate of Prodigy IAS.